Okay, welcome back once again. Glad to see that you've survived me so far. When I left you, we had a basic room with a table. Now, this can get kind of annoying. I want to move the whole table, so I have to select the tabletop, all the legs, and then hit the move tool, and then move it around. The simplest way to take care of that, just to make your life a little bit easier, is to select the tabletop and all four legs, go up to Edit Mesh, go up to Mesh, and go down to Combine. What that will do is it will put all of them into the same object, so I can move them around by just clicking on the one or just selecting the one. If I want the table at an angle, again, just rotate it a little bit, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z to undo that, because I really don't want it rotated. But now that I've got my table in one object, let's go ahead and make a chair for the table. Back to my Polygon tab, and I'm going to start with the legs. Again, I'm going to do very basic legs, and then I'm going to show you how to do a little bit more in depth, or a little bit more intricate legs. That may be a little bit large, bearing in mind that my table is the size that it is. I want to make sure the chairs will fit underneath it. So put on my scale tool. I scaled it down, and then I want to scale it so it's longer. Okay, I'm going to go into my front view here, and I'm going to move it. Hit W to put on the move tool. Move it down so it's parallel or equal with the floor. Hit Control D or go Edit Duplicate. Move it over to about a width I think the chair would be. That looks great. Again, hold Shift and click to select, to add to that selection. Now I'm going to go in the top view, hit Control D or go up to Edit and down to Duplicate. And now I have four legs. And while I'm still in my top view, I'm going to make one of the least comfortable looking chairs I've ever seen. Click and drag for the chair seat, tap the space bar. Tap the space bar over the perspective view and drag it up a little bit. Awesome. I'll probably go into the front view for this. Drag the seat up so that the legs still intersect it, so it looks like one piece. And then I'll go into my perspective view by tapping the space bar. Alright. And now I'm going to make another cube. This time it's going to be the back. So let's see. Go ahead and make, I don't know. Rather than just eyeballing it, I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. I'll go back into my top view, click Create Polygon Cube, and what this will allow me to do is kind of use that chair seat as a guide to how wide the back should be. And that looks good. Now we'll go ahead and go back to my perspective view. Hold Alt, click the middle mouse button to move it into view. And I'm just going to eyeball this and see that it's about the same thickness as the chair seat. Alright. Now move it up. And I'm going to hit spacebar and go into my side view. I'll zoom in on this chair here. Move it. Hit E to put on the rotate tool. Rotate it. Well, we'll make this chair a little bit comfortable. We'll leave the back slanted a little bit. And hit W to put on the move tool. And move it up into position. Bearing in mind I'm looking at this from the side view, so I see the side of the chair. Alright, there we go. Now, I have a very uncomfortable chair. Again, going to select all four legs, the seat back, and the actual seat. Go up to Mesh, go down to Combine. Now, something funny happened. when I combined them, it moves my little manipulator tool, my pivot point, off to the side. It still works, but that's kind of annoying. So I'll show you how to fix that. There's a number of different ways of doing this. Now, on the PC, you hit the insert key. On the Mac, you would hit the home key. And you'll notice that the heads of my arrows disappear. What this tells me is when I move this manipulator, I'm actually moving the pivot point, not moving the object. So you can see I moved it, it's on the floor, but it's about center with the chair. So I hit insert again, my heads come back, now I can move the chair, but the pivot point is right in the center. A lot of times when you're playing with the pivot point, you want it to be in the center, especially if you're rotating. So watch what happens when I'll hit insert and I'm going to move the pivot point way out here and hit insert. Okay. So if I put on my rotate tool or hit E and I rotate it, it rotates around where the pivot point is. So if the pivot point is centered, it will rotate around the center. Typically, I leave the pivot centered unless I'm working on doors or something that normally pivot around a hinge. But at any rate, I'm going to, rather than hitting insert or hitting home, you can also go up to modify and go down to center pivot. That will do what the computer thinks is about the center of the object. So I'll hit W to put on my move tool. Move this back towards the floor and push it in to the table. Okay, now hit Control D or go up to Edit and Duplicate. Move this chair about where I think it should be. I'm going to do this in the top view. It'll be a little easier for me to see. Hit E to put on my rotate tool. Grab this handle. And hit W to put the move tool, push it into the table. Hit Control D or go up to Edit Duplicate to duplicate my chair. Move it about into place. Hit E or go over to my tool palette, grab my rotate tool, rotate it. Hit W, put on my move tool, slide it in, and hit Control D or go up to Edit Duplicate. I sound like a broken record, I know, for those of you that still remember what records are. Hit E to put on my rotate tool and turn it. Actually, I want to give this scene just a little bit of character, so I'm going to leave this out and I'm going to leave it at a little bit of an angle so it almost looks like somebody had used it but then they had to get up. Okay, so now I guess I'm going to make the table and the chairs a matching set for now. I'm going to go ahead and right click like we did before, go down to Assign Existing Material, and I see Floor, Lambert 1, Lambert 3, and Fong. Uh-oh, looks like I didn't name my materials. So if I give it Floor, I know the floor is red. I don't want that one. Lambert 1 I know is the default material. Lambert 3 and Fong are my choices, so the question is, which one was which? You'll learn later that Fongs are shinier, so I know I used the Fong for the table and I used the Lambert for the wall, but for the time being, what I'm going to do instead is click on my table, and you'll notice there's a lot more tabs here than there were before, so you just click on this arrow, go all the way over to the end. Each time you transform an object, you get another tab. So just ignore all those, go to the very end to where it says Fong. Since I know I have the table selected, I can go ahead and name this table. That leaves the wall. To select a wall, you have to go back into face mode, so right click, go to face, select one of the faces. Again, go all the way over, grab that Lambert 3, and I'm going to name this drywall. Awesome. So now I know that my chair is going to be the same as my table. So right click on the chair, go down to Assign Existing Material, Table, Table, table. Oh, if you can't click through your rotation manipulator tool, hit Q or put on your selection tool. Makes life a little bit easier here. And that's it for this. So go ahead and experiment, see what other, what else can you put in the room with what we've done so far, and then in the next lesson we'll go on and see a bunch of other ways you can make tables and chairs and such.